I'm joined by John Knowles, Director of Public Spaces at the Roger Smith Hotel, coming to us from New York City. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, we haven't talked since, I think, last June.
Yeah.
How was
What's happened? We've got ourselves through 20 and into 2021. Here, it's snowing right now, and things are slow. But it doesn't mean that where we are isn't in progress. I think that there's something to be said for the planning process and the efforts that you're doing now that will make a difference in the future. I would imagine.
Yeah. Are you guys starting to open up at all?
We are open. We are operating at a limited kind of staff.
Well, I mean the city. How's the city doing?
Oh, the city. Apparently the bars are opening up in February 14th for indoor dining. There's, everyone's looking for indicators. Apparently there's kind of accessibility to businesses to plan events like weddings and stuff coming in the spring. I think everyone's looking at when, Broadway has kind of plans. I think a lot of people are wondering, if Broadway starts to announce a plan to reopen, then there's going to be that's an indicator of I would say traveler confidence to kind of come and participate in that.
Yeah. Director of Public Spaces. You don't hear that a lot in hotel lineup.
Well,
tell us about that.
I think about spaces differently, which puts me in a unique position now because, right, there's a lot of people who have in their own, worlds have had their spaces displaced, their businesses, whether they're using a WeWork or they're renting an office in a facility. A lot of people have been displaced. And my theory or my hypothesis has to do with creating alternative use of spaces. So what spaces might have been used for event spaces can now be used to house a business that, say, you're a physical therapist and you're displaced from your facility, you still have customers and you still need to create that regularity. So we end up renting one of our event spaces to a group of physical therapists who are essentially able to service their customer base. Similar with a marketing company, similar with, a usage for retail. I mean, the awkward moment in time is to look at the current situation and not try to sugarcoat it. So if retail in Midtown ground floor is really bad, instead of saying, oh, well, trying to sell something that's not great, you can actually say, look, right now is not the right time to do something there. It will change, but your customer is going to be online. Your customer is going to, appreciate by appointment. So if you are interested in thinking about retail differently, you might consider renting a space on a floor, call it a suite, call it an event space. And instead of thinking about ground floor retail as being desirable, you might build a whole campaign around by appointment. And then your online game improves, your ability to merchandise online improves, and your customer experience is a lot more specific and planned. So that's kind of the ideas that I'm working on.
There's a lot more going on there, though, right? I mean, you've got you got cameras coming in there shooting in videos, and you've got musicians, and tell us about all that you're filling your space with.
Yeah. So again, there's hypotheses here that we're testing, and one is as things get hairy, or in every part of the world, people having to lock down. Their attention and their focus is online. And what we did, probably call it November, or even a little bit earlier, a little bit earlier, but at the end of last year, we started a residency program for artists where they come, they get a room, they get a creative space to work, and they produce content and they share it amongst their community and network. What it's evolved into is that we have a couple of artists in residence who are focused in video production and sound production. And so what we did was we put a piano in one of the suites. We tricked out the room to be kind of like capable of a live music production and recording. And we broadcast it. And we invited some kind of local musicians to come and participate, obviously considering all the, precautions to make sure everyone's safe. People wear masks. It's not a free for all, and it's actually quite specific. And we're building out a catalog of content. In there, you're actually catching people's attention, and your ability to, even if your hotel is relatively empty, you have the ability to capture a bunch of people online. And if that network of people who you're engaging with the music industry or the creative industry start to share it amongst their network, we're making a lot of noise. And hopefully that translates into future interest or even immediate interest in some of the things that we're doing. So not many properties have a director of public spaces. I think the method of thinking about your spaces as a revenue and also an activity generator, they overlap in the sense that the attention of people who will want to do business with you is what you're trying to attract, and your product's going to change. So that's kind of another angle off of that.
So I mean, how's that been? How has the word of mouth started? Has it happened? Are you getting like calls for like, hey, I saw you guys were hosting? Yeah.
It's happening. It is not in the same way in which you would imagine in terms of generating those revenue systems, those revenue kind of reliability. Obviously, we're in February of a pandemic, 2021, and the idea that in April the people will start to wake up, call it Easter, and come out of their perspective kind of areas, and hopefully everyone's feeling a little bit better. And when that happens, those people who you've made online connections with will start to surface in more purposeful ways. So yes, it's happening. It's not really translating into immediate revenue.
But you're keeping eyeballs. You're keeping eyeballs on the hotel.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. And in the short term, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's good in a positive way. And the challenges that everyone's facing is you have to maintain your relevance, and you actually have to make the plans that allow for you to meet the market as it's coming back, but also be able to know that what you're planning now will establish you're meeting the market in 2022 on a much more improved footing. So time to look in the mirror, or time to look at your product and say, this thing needs updating. These things need updating. And so that's kind of the self-analysis that I think will make a difference, call it in a year.
Yeah. All right, John, we're out of time, but thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Enjoy talking with you. Hang in there.
All right. Thanks. Talk to you soon.